Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. I didn't do it. I threatened to do something silly.
It is Tuesday morning, and Seth is tired today, so he was kind of resting on the side panel of the screen and pretending to be sleeping, and I almost kicked the camera. What a way to start the day. Oh, good morning, Sir Benjamin. Welcome back
Benjamin.
to the office today, sir. We hope everybody is having a good day. It was awfully rainy here yesterday for pretty much the entire day. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
There
it is.
Okay.
We lost him.
It was a little delayed there on you showing up on our multi-stream.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we have shared this to another page. We've shared it to our church's life group class. So if anybody from there is watching this, welcome.
Benjamin's off today and tomorrow. He says he has to use his flex time. So.
Oh, got to use that flex time. Well, enjoy your really long break before you get crazy going on your next trip.
Turning it into a really long weekend.
Yeah.
Right? Because yesterday, hope you enjoyed your Memorial Day, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody had a holiday yesterday. Most people had a holiday yesterday. Nice to have extra time. You can turn that into a 5-day weekend, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Instead of 2 flex days. So it'd be hard to go back to work on Thursday.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Then he heads out this weekend for somewhere. I don't remember where. I'm sorry. So we're going to get ready to start our devotion. I don't think there's anything major to talk about yet, is there?
No thunderstorms last night.
Yeah, no.
Right? No earthquakes.
Nice. No thunderquakes.
By which I mean Tammy quakes.
I did not hit the camera today.
Oh, he took Friday off too, so he's only working Thursday this week.
Slackers. Or he took last Friday off.
Oh, well, yeah, that would be a 6-day week.
Who knows?
And
the benefits of working weekends, I guess you can spread it around. All right.
Yeah, today feels weird.
Yeah, because it's a Tuesday, so our week has already started, and
yeah.
And it's just an off day.
It feels like an off day.
Well, in our area,
it's been an off week.
Schools are out now, so traffic is probably very different for you this morning.
It was very different for me this morning. It's nice.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Plus the end of the holiday weekend. I don't know how many people might still be traveling.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We still have one child out vacationing. We got 2 of them back this weekend, which was nice. So, yeah, things are
getting.
And I was actually productive yesterday. I transferred
my gosh, yes you did.
Office here at home to a different part of the house about 5 years ago.
Yes.
4 years ago. And I had been stationed, if you will, in a corner of our family room because when the kids were little, I wanted to still be working but yet be with the littles. You know, just what moms do. But yeah. So we finally got to move my office area out of the family room and into a different area of the house, and I finally moved a big storage section of the family room into my office to store supplies that I need. And the kids were like, something's different.
Yeah, she's like, we're not going to tell anybody. We're going to see who notices all the stuff in the corner is gone.
So Benjamin, the white cubes are officially out of the family room. But it was like, it took up this corner of the room and like all my stuff in it. So it was, now there's this void.
And what did we do with 95% of that stuff?
I threw it away. That's such a big deal for me. I am a lot like my mom. My mom's not a hoarder, but she saves things because she assumes that she'll want it later. Like she would save some newspaper clippings and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say that to single you out and say that you hoard stuff, not hoard, but that you hold on to stuff that could be thrown away. We all do that. Yeah. I mean, look over there. There's boxes of stuff. Guess what?
They're his.
Those are probably, I mean, except for the books. We got to get a bookshelf in here. But except for the books, it's all trash.
Yeah, but it felt really good. And we threw away 2 big 30-gallon size trash bags of stuff. And that felt good. And that allowed me to organize my current office of things that have just been piling up for 4 years. So that I was productive yesterday.
Really productive
and
yesterday.
really, really dusty.
I was sneezing all afternoon.
You were not.
I was.
But yeah, it was a productive day for me and ready to work on it a little bit more
Yeah,
today.
it's really
So
good.
it's baby steps of things that you have to do. And
And we drove out to our store in North Richmond Hills and put some 6,000 piece puzzles on sale. So if you're looking for a 6,000 piece
yeah, we marked that down.
puzzle of the Sistine Chapel,
That's
your
pretty
chance.
cool. We should change the price on our website too,
I can do that.
so that it reflects.
So that people can buy it
Yeah.
at that price, yeah.
So yeah, it was $45. It's now 30 or
I mean,
$29.99.
it's 6,000 pieces.
It's a 6,000 piece
It's
puzzle
like
of the
3.5
Sistine
by
Chapel.
4.5 feet. It's like
It's
huge.
monstrous.
Yeah,
But it'd
and
be
it's
really
the
cool.
Sistine Chapel ceiling, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
You're Catholic.
Well, it's still beautiful art.
No, I know. Yeah.
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 So, productive day.
Yeah, it's a good day.
Running between the raindrops.
Yeah, it was rainy and Tammy quickie
I hit the camera one time yesterday.
one time yesterday.
I haven't touched it today. I'll move my foot this way. Ah, he's got my foot. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started on today's devotion. It is entitled 9 40-day periods.
9:40?
No, 9 40-day
That's what I
periods.
said. 9:40?
No. Still no.
I am trying to buy time as I rearrange things.
This
Sorry.
devotion is being supplied by,
Provided
by the Institute for Creation Research. You can find a link to today's devotion and previous devotions at www.icr.org/DOP for Days of Praise.
Yep, and you can also sign up to have that delivered daily to your inbox, or you can receive a quarterly devotional book that'll come in the mail, as well as a full color magazine 6 to 8 times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this one is written by Dr. Henry Morris II. It is again called 9 40-day periods.
940?
Stop it. This is from Acts 1 verse 3. To whom also he showed himself alive after his passion by many infallible proofs, being seen of them 40 days, and speaking of the things pertaining to the kingdom of God.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to move it while you were reading.
Let's scroll.
See, I only heard one 40-day period there.
Just wait. There's more.
Oh. 8 more, I'm guessing.
It is interesting how often the scriptures refer to a 40-day period. There are 9 different 40-day periods noted in scripture.
Oh, I get it. 9 40-day. Oh, well, why didn't you say it that way?
The phrase itself occurs 17 times.
Which is related to neither 9 nor 40, that being a prime number and not a factor of 40. So you can't finagle stuff there.
And it may be noteworthy that 40 days is 1/9 of the original and prophetic lunar solar year of 360 days. Note Genesis 7:11, 8 3-4, and Revelation 11 2-3. Thus, the total of the 9 40-day periods equals the lunar solar year. See, I didn't know that part. That's
I didn't
pretty
either.
cool.
That's pretty fascinating, actually.
It's kind of like in school when we'd be broken down into quarters, semesters, and the full year kind of thing. So each year was broken into 9 different periods of time.
Yeah, it's weird though. It's interesting because
So where did the other 4 come? The other 5 days come from? Is that because of the when we add leap year?
You mean
and
the
stuff?
360
We
versus
went from 360 to
365?
365.
Oh, that's open. That's a
today's
discussion for another time.
Okay.
However, when you're dealing with a lunar calendar, you're not dealing with your calendar is based on the moon and not the sun. The moon goes around the earth 28 and a half days. That probably works out to 360 total. The 365.24 days is the time it takes the earth to go once around the sun. When you're dealing with the lunar calendar, it's not exactly the same.
Okay.
So that's the 360. So yeah, the scripture uses a lot of times when it's talking prophetically, it uses a 360-day year.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I was thinking, as you were talking about semesters, quarters, calendar stuff that we do sometimes, It is interesting that the year is not divided into 9 periods. In other words, this isn't directly like us saying, "Oh, he was around for a month," because a month to them was 28 days. The Hebrew calendar, a month is 28 days. It's a lunar cycle. So it's just interesting that it's not one of the divisions of the year.
Right.
It is a different period. And it's also interesting to note, and this may all come up. I'm sorry if I haven't read this, so this may all come up. But it's interesting that this is. I mean, you know me. You know when I'm teaching in Sunday school and stuff, I like to point out things that lend a bit of an air of authenticity to the script, to the text. Not that proves it, but that shows that this is not invented.
It supports it.
It supports it. And the fact that 9 40-day periods equal one prophetic year is cool. What's cooler is that it is some of those 40-day periods are Old Testament and some are New Testament, like our text today, Acts 1:3. And I don't know if there are others that are going to come up in the 40 days in the New Testament, but taken as a whole, Old and New Testament, that gives us that prophetic year in 40-day periods, which is an interesting proof, if you will, that the two testaments are meant to be taken together.
Right.
That they share a divine author, ultimately in the Holy Spirit. So that's what I was ramping off of in my head.
So we were talking about terms and semesters and stuff like that. How many months are there in the Hebrew calendar?
13, I think.
So that doesn't work. I was curious if it was 9.
I think it's actually 12, and then they have an additional leap month that they insert every once in a while. That's how it works. So it's 12, yeah. But okay. So it's Nisan through Adar, and in leap years there's an Adar too.
Okay, I didn't know if it was potentially 9.
No, that's why I was saying that's what I should have made that clear, because that's what I was saying. It's not 40 days is not the length of time of a month. There aren't 9 months in a year or 9 periods in a year outside of this 40-day thing. Benjamin did, yeah. It's 12 with an additional. It's the leap month. So that's interesting because it's like saying, well, whatever. It's like saying a month and a half, and you come up with 8 of them.
Right.
Right, because that would be 12 months.
All right. Dr. Morris's position on this. It is interesting how often the scriptures I said that already, didn't I?
You did.
I did.
Sorry.
So let's skip to the next paragraph. These 9 40-day periods are as follows.
Oh, here we go. Let's go through them. What are they?
Number 1.
What is number 1?
The intense rainfall at the start of the flood, found in Genesis 7:12 and 17.
Rain for 40 days and 40 nights.
Number 2.
But I guess since the nights go with the days, we're not counting those as 2 90-day periods.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a day it was night, it was morning.
Yeah, evening and morning.
Evening and morning.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one is the flood. The second one, the first giving of the law, found in Exodus 24:18 and Deuteronomy 9, verses 9 and 11.
Do you mind if we take a side thing and just go look at I'm going to look at the Exodus. Yeah, Moses went into the midst of the cloud and got him up into the mountain and was in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights.
Okay.
Yeah, Benjamin points out, and it's important to note, a lot of times we think of the flood as being a 40-day event. No. The flood was the rain.
The rain was 40 days, 40 nights.
The rain and the waters were flooding the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. And then
they sustained.
And yes, and then it was
over a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 371 days, I think, total from the time they got on the ark till the time they got off. Benjamin, yeah, 371.
That's a long time.
It is a long time. So, your little bathtub Noah's Ark, 40 days and 40 nights, blah blah blah. No, that's not the reality. Anyway,
yeah, we thought yesterday was rainy.
We thought yesterday, right? We didn't have the fountains of the great deep bursting forth.
Well, even you take it back to North Carolina and Kentucky and all that area last year with the flood that they had, which I'm not trying to say was not catastrophic, because it was. We watched, thanks to the marvel of television, we watched towns wash away.
Yeah.
That that was a short amount of time when you
And a
consider
small amount
that.
of water.
You consider that to the flood of the rains, the waters for 40 days, 40 nights, and then 371 days without land.
Right.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
All right, so number 3. The second giving of the law, found in Exodus 34:28 and Deuteronomy 9 verses 18 to 20 and
18 and 25.
Deuteronomy 9, 18 and 25.
Right.
Number 4, the searching of Canaan by the fearful spies, found in Numbers 13:25 and 14:34.
If you're not familiar with that, just real quick, that's when Moses sent 12 spies into the land of Canaan to see if they would be able to take it. And of the 12 spies, they spent 40 days and 40 nights in the land looking at everything. And of the 12 spies, 10 of them came back saying there's no way. There's no way. The cities are too big. The people are too strong. The Nephilim are there. They were exaggerating a bit, I think, on the Nephilim being there. But only 2 of them, Joshua and Caleb, said, no, the Lord's with us. We can take it. And that is why, because the spies, the fearful spies, that's why the Israelites spent another 40 years wandering around in the desert, because they didn't trust God to deliver the land that he had promised to them.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So Benjamin's posted, if you look in your comments, specifically on Facebook, Benjamin adds that an article dealing with finding hope in flooding in the midst of severe flooding today. Yeah. So thank you, Benjamin, for the article. That's from Institute for Creation Research. All right, number 5. So again, we've got the flood, the first giving of the law, the second giving of the law, the searching of Canaan by the fearful spies. Number 5 is the defiance of Israel by Goliath, found in 1 Samuel 17, verse 16.
Yep, that's where Goliath challenged the armies for 40 days until David stepped up.
Okay, go David. Verse 6,
Sorry.
Elijah's journey to Horeb, 1 Kings 19:8. We're studying that. Actually, I guess we just finished that study in our church sermon service series by Dr. McPherson.
Yeah, he went to Horeb all the way from northern Israel all the way down to Horeb and Sinai, which is probably in Saudi Arabia today. Jebel al-Lawz or whatever. Sorry. It's a long walk. 40 days, apparently.
There you go. Number 7, Jonah's reluctant preaching in Nineveh. This is found in Jonah chapter 3, verse 4. That was 40 days. Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
This one I knew. A lot of these I didn't. Christ's temptation in the wilderness. Matthew 4:2, Mark 1:13, and Luke chapter 4, verse 2.
And this is where we switch from Old Testament to New Testament. So again, it's interesting. We've got these 9 40-day periods. 7 are Old Testament, 2 are New Testament. But all told, I'm interested to see what Dr. Morris makes of the length of time. But all told, we have a prophetic year in these 40-day periods.
And we talked recently about this time in the wilderness. This is when Satan was tempting Christ, right? Yeah. So and that's where it reflected back to the 3 things that Satan tempted Adam and Eve with in the garden.
Which John identifies as, in one of his letters, First John, I think, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the boastful pride of life. Yeah. Appealing to our own sense of need, worth, and need, desire, and self-righteousness. Those are areas we all have our own Achilles heels on at times.
All right, number 9.
1 John 2:15 through 17. Thank you, Benjamin.
Number 9, Christ's post-resurrection ministry. That's found.
We have our own little fact checker here.
We do. Awesome. Christ's post-resurrection ministry found in Acts 1, verse 3.
Which is our text
today.
Sorry, you were going to say that.
All right, so Dr. Morris concludes stating, each of these periods was a time of great stress and intense testing for one or more of God's people, except for the last. Instead, the final 40-day period, encompassing Christ's ministry to his disciples after his resurrection, was a time of triumph and great blessing. He had come victoriously through the most intense time of stress and testing that anyone could ever experience, and now he could show himself alive eternally to his disciples and promised them the same victory. 40 days of testing, 40 days of triumph. Even a lifetime of testing is more than balanced by an eternity of blessing. Wow, what a victory in that.
Wow, yeah.
That was great.
That was really good.
And so true.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we were talking so much recently of our time and our struggle now compared to what our life is going to be later. We can't fathom the period of time that we're in against the unknown. You know, how do you encompass our age span, our lifespan here? Because we think it is everything because we're in it. This is all we've known. This is all we can. I can only imagine.
This is all we've got so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All we have is the promise we spoke of yesterday from Hebrews. You know, the promise of what's to come.
It's not to question my Christianity, but it's hard to hold to something you don't fully understand. But yet there's victory in that. There's a loss of stress by believing in the one who overcame it all.
Can I say something stupid?
Please.
So
I do every day.
Because no, I mean that's a real concern. Right?
Yeah.
People have all the time. How can I trust something I don't understand?
Yeah.
I would venture that most people, myself included, don't really understand the workings of an internal combustion engine.
Ooh.
But we get in a car every day.
I bet Marshall does. Marshall would be able to show us up on that one.
Most people don't understand avionics or jet engines.
But we get in a plane.
But we'll get in a plane. Most people don't understand electricity, and yet we turn on a switch and expect the light to come on.
And not blow us up. I guess that's true in every example you said.
But
a car, a plane.
It is God. I mean, look at the prophets of Baal, right? They kind of blew up on the mountain, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's true that it's hard to trust something you can't see, electricity, right? But how do we trust it? We trust it by doing it, by turning on a light switch all the time. And at some point, at some point in human history, when lights were new, when electricity was new, people walked into the room and went to the switch and looked at the light and were like, click, and they didn't know for sure.
To me, I go to Downton Abbey with our beautiful Dame Maggie Smith and experiencing the telephone.
Exactly right. You just don't know. You don't know if it's going to work. You don't know if it's going to do what you want. You
how?
don't know, and you don't know, and you don't know, and you don't know, but you keep using it, right? And at some point, you don't think about it anymore because you
count on it.
And you now know.
Yeah.
Right? Your faith tried out over time becomes a surety.
Well, and that's what our Bible is for us. But we have to remember that this one day I truly would love to go to Israel and walk this area, seeing this area. Our daughter went to some, we talked yesterday, she had gone to some battlegrounds in Georgia and walked history. I want to do that for biblical history. Yeah. I want to be able to see these things because we where's your Bible?
It's
Dr. Morse's Bible. You read these stories, and because of the way some of the more known, I was going to say popular, but the more known stories when we're children are put into these beautiful coloring books. And
well, I mentioned the bathtub arc earlier.
And it's the fun things that we disconnect from the truth of these things. We disconnect from the fact that the Bible was written. That's Vodie's paragraph. Can you do that?
The Bible is a reliable collection of historical documents written down by eyewitnesses during the lifetime of other eyewitnesses, purports to tell of supernatural events and fulfillment of specific prophecies and claims to be divine rather than man-made in origin.
But it's
Hi, Tiffany. Sorry.
Hi, Tiffany. Good morning. It's this collection of the stories written over this specific time, and it's so critical that they're written by people at the same time of other eyewitnesses.
Yeah.
Because that allows people to say, no, it didn't happen that way.
Right.
No, that could not have happened, and that didn't happen.
Right.
These are stories that happened to people that
Real
truly
people,
walked the earth.
real people in real time, experiencing real events, and you're exactly right. It fully impeachable. 1 Corinthians talks about how Christ was seen by over 500 people after he was raised from the dead, and Paul even says some of whom are still alive, because again this is a couple decades he's writing Corinthians. But the whole point is, don't take my word for it. He says,
Go talk to
people.
others.
Go talk to the people who saw
Yeah.
him. It's not just me. I'm not some crazy wild kook who's telling you some guy, raised himself from the dead. He was seen.
And that's what we. That's where we have to go when we question the why or how. There's no way somebody could provide us everlasting life. Read the Bible.
Yeah. Read
the stories.
Yeah.
Read the triumphant victories that only God could have done. And that's what gives us the confidence to say, I do believe. While I didn't experience what happened in those Bible writings, they happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just some fictional piece of literature.
Correct.
That's what gives us the strength and the confidence in times of deep stress. It talked in here of great stress and intense testing. We all endure our own moments of stress and testing, whether it's financial, whether it's health, whether it's just whatever unknown you're in right now. Even when you don't necessarily know how it will end, God does.
Right.
God's already seen it through. We just have to live the walk right now.
Right.
And we can read over and over again the great miracles God has done. Some of us have lived maybe not the great biblical miracles, but we've lived our own miracles that are great in our lives, that can only be pointed back to a greater creator than we could ever imagine.
Yeah. We're studying Job in our Sunday school class, and there's we're in chapters 25 and 26. You should read it if you haven't, because it's really good. There's a point at which Bildad is talking, and he's tired of telling Job that Job's a bad guy. Job is not a bad guy. So he basically tells Job, look, God is great. He's just really good. He's just awesome. You're just a worm. You're nothing. You shouldn't. Basically trying to convince him he shouldn't go and try and get an audience with God. And in Job's response in chapter 26, he goes through. He basically says, if you think God's great, wait a minute and hear me tell you how great God is. And he goes through. God is the God of this. He's the God of that. He goes through. It's a great doxology.
God is the God.
He's the God of the heavens, the earth, things under the earth, things in the water, things in the clouds. I mean, it just goes through this whole list of things.
I know my God.
I know who God is what Job is saying. And at the end, he says, these are just whisper words. He talks about how little a portion that we know. And that little a portion is translated. The Hebrew means whisper words. And he says, basically, imagine God's thunder. If that, and that's just a
whisper.
If that's the whisper,
yeah.
All of that, God is this and that, and he's just hammering home on how great God is.
Magnify it.
And then we can't even. That's just a whisper of who He is, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, even a lifetime of testing and trial and stuff, Dr. Morris said, is more than balanced by an eternity of blessing with the one who created us.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to wish my life away, but I can't wait for that day.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. We are running late. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
supposed to be done at 10, and I show it's 10:01. So we will get you back to your regularly scheduled day.
Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Life,
wanderings,
phone.
We're so grateful that you tuned in
reel.
with us today.
I'm Seth, by the way.
Oh yeah, we
She's
we
Tammy.
forgot to do that
We
again.
Did. Sorry.
We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30. Feel free if you're catching this after the fact, please still feel free to leave comments. We'll still follow up with them. We can even tag them back tomorrow. We are so grateful that you're here. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble.
We tried X, but you got to sign up for an X
we'll
Premier
get there.
subscription.
We'll get
look
there
and
someday.
see if we can do it.
But please feel free to share this video and our channel, and we hope you'll come back tomorrow morning at 9:30 Central.
And if you don't, we will come and find you.
We'll still be here.
But once we're done, we will come and find you.
We won't.
Drag you back.
No, we won't.
In time.
No, we
so
won't.
that you can watch tomorrow's.
Okay. For the 4031 family, I'm Tammy.
I'm Seth.
Remember, he's God.
We're not.
And we'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
Bye.